Years ago, anxiety and stress was very, very rarely used only by few corporate professionals, by elderly parents when they're supposed to do some investment or marriage. But these days, anxiety and stress are omnipresent. Be it a teen, be it a kid, be it a modern mother or a parent or a corporate professional going to office every day. If today you are in the junction of anxiety, stress, or lack of boundaries, then listen to this podcast and from the expert's mouth. Welcome to the season 2 of the Re-Engineered podcast. And today, joining us is our expert guest, Gayathri Murukan. She is an engineer turned rapid transformation therapist. And that she did because she herself underwent through a phase of anxiety. Welcome, Gayathri, to my podcast.
Happy to be here, Madhu. I'm excited.
And it's so beautiful. Your story is so emotional that being an engineer, very well settled, studying so much in engineering, and suddenly you decided to become a therapist, to have a journey of therapy and become a life coach. And that too when you encountered as a mother what your son was going through. How was that?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm a mom to 3 boys who are 12, 10, and 8. So growing up, a little bit about my childhood. So I grew up in a family where academics was everything. So growing up, it was either become an engineer or a doctor. So I chose the former. I decided to pursue my engineering, went on to do my master's in health management. So I've always been associated with the health industry, but doing something entirely different from what I'm doing today.
Okay.
Once my kids came along, I just decided that I needed to really look at myself because life had become really exhausting and overwhelming. Going to work, coming back home. At one point, I had 3 kids below the age of 5.
Okay.
So, and I had my husband who was traveling all the time. So I looked at myself and I realized that one person needed to be present at home.
To balance.
Yeah, just balance it out. So I decided to take a break from my career. This was never part of my plan, but then I decided it was the need of the hour. So I took a break from my career, became a full-time mom for a couple of years. But then COVID happened, right? Everybody was just stuck at home, completely cooped in. And things were so unpredictable at that point of time. And that's when I realized, what am I doing? Who am I? I felt that I had lost my identity.
Okay.
I had anxiety, I had stress, there was a lot of guilt, there were fears, there was this fear of judgment. I was like, I don't know myself anymore. And I was at that state where I felt myself drowning. And when you have kids, you realize that you can't afford to drown. You need to learn to swim.
And
right?
bounce back.
Yes, you need to bounce back. And that's when I decided to contact a coach that came highly recommended.
Okay.
So I started my journey with a life coach who helped me realize that I don't need to live this way. There is a possibility to live a life feeling absolutely empowered. So during my journey with my life coach, and I started working on my anxiety, stress, guilt, anger, a lot of things, I was seeing a beautiful transformation in myself. At the same time, there was an eye-opening incident that happened in my house.
Okay.
So my son had just changed schools, and one day he just woke up and he told me, "Mama, I cannot see." And as a mother, that is the most heartbreaking, heart-wrenching moment.
All of a sudden?
All of a sudden, he just woke up and he was like, "There's a blurriness. I don't know. I can't see clearly." So I wanted to be calm in front of him. I told him, "You know what? Don't worry. I will take you to the doctor. He just might prescribe you some medicine. You will be fine." That's what I told him. But inside, I could really feel my heart racing.
Yeah.
So then I took him to one ophthalmologist, to another, because they started doing several tests because they weren't sure what was going on in his eye. So we went on for x-rays, MRIs, retinal scans, on and on. It went for almost a month. And during the same time, what was interesting is I was still working with my life coach, and she told me, "Gayathri, there must be something else going on." And I refused to believe her. I said, "No, you don't understand. My son told me he cannot see. So I need to figure out what's going on with him." So I remember holding this huge file of reports, going to the head of a hospital, and I just put it in front of him, and I told him, "Please help me. Please tell me what's going on because I'm just lost." So he had a look at all the reports, and he was like, "Gayathri, physiologically, your son's eye looks fine." There's
Looks
something
fine.
looks fine.
Okay.
Yeah, he said, looks absolutely fine. All the reports, it says that your son's eye is fine. There must be something else that's going on. And I still remember, it just gives me goosebumps talking about it again. On my drive back home, I was just thinking, like, I've always been a present mom. I've been a full-time mom. What is it that I am missing?
Yes.
So then I realized during my drive back home, my son did mention there was a kid who was being really mean to him in school. And even though he told me about it, I used to check on him, time again and say, how are things with that kid? And he said, it's okay. I can deal with it. It's fine. I'm okay. But then when I went back, I asked him, listen, let's just talk about it again. Tell me what's happening. And that's when he opened up on different episodes, almost every single day that was going on, that wasn't working in his favor. So I called the hospital. I called the doctor and said, hey, there is this issue that's going on in school. So the doctor, he was really kind. He said, Gayathri, this is what we're going to do. While you go and fix the issue at school, I'm going to give you a pair of placebo glasses that you're going to give your son. Tell him that he needs to wear it for a couple of weeks and he will be totally fine. So I handed over the placebo glasses to my son, told him that this is what the doctor recommended. And on the other side, I went to the school, had the conversation with the teacher, the principal, and the school was really supportive and they didn't realize this was happening, right? Kids, they're young. They don't know what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
And, you can't really blame them because they're super young. I didn't want the kid to be thrown out of school or anything, right? Because he's young and you just don't know what they're going through themselves. So I had the conversation at school, the bullying was sorted, and my son was wearing these placebo glasses. In exactly 3 weeks, he puts his glasses down and he told me, Mama, I can see now. And that was a game-changing moment for me because while I was going through my own journey with the life coach, at the same time, I just realized what anxiety up in here can do for you physically. It was just an incident that happened in my house that was really game-changing. And I realized this is mind-blowing. People need to understand it and people need to be aware of what happens in your mind, what effect it can have on your body. And that's how my journey and research into life coaching and rapid transformational therapy began.
You started believing in it.
Yes, because it was there right in front of me.
Yeah. And how old was your son during that time?
He was 9 years of age.
So that means at 9 years also someone can go through anxiety and stress.
Absolutely. What goes in your mind, the stress and anxiety can have different ways of showing up in your body. I mean, as adults, you have migraines, you have digestive issues, or sleepless nights. All these are symptoms of what is going on in your mind.
And it's beautiful, like, as a mother, how were your emotions? Like, how you're tackling both? I think you getting into hiring a life coach for yourself was a game changer. Like, that's how you got her somehow.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, she was always beside me. And if you look at it, she was right. She was 100% right. Initially, when she told me, no, Gayathri, I think there is something else going on, I didn't believe her. Yeah. I didn't believe her because I was like, how is that even possible? He's young. And I've always been a present mother. So, there's that mom guilt, like, I was always present. So why didn't I pick up on this?
Yes.
So, as a parent, don't be so hard on yourself.
And did you had that guilt feeling like how I missed it?
A bit, but then I realized that I was quick to catch on once the doctor told me it's not a physiological issue. On the drive back, I just went back at all the conversations that I had with my son over the past few months.
And you recollected all of that.
It. Yeah. So then if I look at it, one way I can either get depressed and say that, oh no, I was not present for my son. I let this happen. Or I can look at it and say, this is a game-changing moment because I was able to pinpoint what could the problem be. And since I was able to do that, that's when the change actually happened. Otherwise, my son would have always been wearing those glasses.
Exactly, and you addressed it at the right time.
Exactly. So, and that is also what led me to my journey. So I cannot say that I regret what had happened here.
But you rebounded and you're a resilient mom. And why I'm asking this question, because half of the mothers, including me, spend more time on feeling guilt. Yes. But not taking an action or step ahead, how to address it.
Exactly.
And you did that. So any message that you want to give to the parents, I'll say mom and dad both, who are really juggling with their parenthood these days?
Yes. The fact is, children don't come with a handbook. You do what you feel is right. And I think it's important every day to wake up, just have your hand on your heart and say that it's okay. I'm doing what I need to do to make sure my family is safe. So just be present in the moment. And you can always be present in the moment only if you do the inner work as well. Correct. If you're going through a lot of stress and anxiety, trust me, the kids pick on it as well.
Okay, so you show it on them too.
Of course, you reflect it. You might not talk about it, but your stress and anxiety, the kids can pick on it. like that. So it's really important for you to do the inner work, for you to feel calm and relaxed, to be more mindful and present for your kids.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And let's do it one time. What we have to do, like as a parent?
Yes, just have your hand on your heart and remind yourself, just tell yourself, I'm okay.
I'm okay.
I will be okay.
I will be okay.
I'm doing the best I can.
I'm doing the best I can.
And as a mother, I would say, I'm the best mom for my kids.
I'm the best mom for my kid.
My kids are lucky.
My kid is lucky.
And I'm lucky to have them.
And I'm lucky to have him.
Yes, that's just beautiful.
Beautiful.
So remind yourself every single day.
Yeah.
And you will notice that there is an inner peace and happiness that slowly creeps inside you. It's a great way to start your day.
Thank you so much. And I think this is a really good takeaway because we reflect it on our kids, and our kids are very smart enough to see that, and they grab it very, very early.
Yes.
And when you had this transition, right, is that you who do it yourself? Everything you decided that, no, this is the right thing for me? Or was there any support or ecosystem who actually helped you in having this transition done?
I would say there was an ecosystem involved, especially my husband, because like I said, he travels a lot. And that was one of the reasons why I took a break from my career to be more present for my family. So when I decided that this is a transition I wanted, initially it was met with a lot of surprise and whys, especially from my own parents, because I'm an engineer, did my master's in that, and they were like, if you're going back, why don't you go back to doing what you've always done? And
Our typical parents.
Typical parents, right? The upbringing. They're like, why don't you go back and do what you've always been doing? And I put my foot down for the first time. So here's another thing. I grew up as a huge people's pleaser. I was always the good kid, the kind kid, the good kid, the role model kid, right? Good in academics, the kind kid, who always met people's expectations. So for the first time in my life, I put my foot down and I said no. And that was possible because I did the inner work as well. When I realized that I matter, my needs matter. And people need to understand that and realize that I'm important as well. So I put my foot down. To my family, I said, but this is what I want to do. This is what I'm passionate about. I know I can make a difference because it was my journey, my 180-degree transformation that really opened my eyes and showed me that change is possible. You don't need to live in overwhelm. You don't need to live in anxiety, stress, fear, exhaustion. There is a way out. And that is the message that I want to spread to people around me. So I put my foot down, went back to studying. Took me about 1.5 years. But yeah, here I am.
Congratulations for taking that step and wishing you good luck. But how difficult was that to convince? How much time it took?
It took about a month, I would say, because people had to get used to me doing my own thing. So I had my classes. I had to travel to London for my practical training. So I never left my kids and traveled. So this is the first time I told my husband, like, my practical training, my exams are in London. I need to leave for a week. So you need to not travel and you need to be home. So it was a game changer for the whole family. The kids.
So you swapped the roles.
Exactly. I said, I'm walking out. But my husband was really supportive. Like, he made sure that his travel schedule was cleared. And I also feel that the kids value you more when you're not there. Then they realize, things get messy and the routine might not work out. So you
elevated the respect.
Exactly.
level,
They were happy. I mean, there was this funny incident because I always drop my kids to school and then I bring them back. So this funny incident where during the week when I was in London, when I get a message from my oldest son, he's like, Mom, do you know where we are? I just looked at the time and I was like, yeah, you should be home. He said, no, we're on the road. And you know why? I said, why? Is there a traffic jam? No, Mom. Papa didn't fill petrol. So my husband didn't realize he would need that much petrol to head to the school. He thought he
will manage.
Yeah, he will manage and he will, fill petrol on the way back. It didn't work out. So I just felt that was an eye-opener for my husband and my kids, all that I do. And they just realized.
And they take it for granted.
Yes, they're like, Mom is always there. So now drawing boundaries. I mean, especially just coming here today. Morning, Saturday, they were like, it's a weekend. I'm like, yeah, but I have to go now. And I walked out. So I think I also feel empowered and happy doing my own thing.
Yeah, excellent. And this is how we shift from lack of boundaries to setting boundaries.
Absolutely. It gives you so much empowerment and peace. And you will see, once you set boundaries, people around you respect you more. Because how you perceive yourself is how the world will perceive you. So if you don't give yourself the respect and if you don't put yourself as priority, who else will? Nobody will.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. And looking back for about your self-discovery route or the map that you had for yourself, you will also allow the same thing for your kids? Or how you are empowering them, the self-discovery path for them?
I think I've changed as a parent. One thing I remember when they were younger, it was really overwhelming for me. So I have found really hard to be precise with boundary setting and following through with consequences. This is something that I learned the hard way.
Okay.
Today, because I've had my own journey, I've realized that it's really important to have an open communication so they understand what is expected from them and what the consequences would be if they don't follow through with whatever task they are given to do. So just showing up every single day, explaining to them what the expectation is for the day, showing them what the schedule would look like, and giving them this open, safe, nurturing environment where they can feel comfortable to talking to you about anything under the sun, where they don't feel judged. That is the environment that I'm working on creating for my house, for my own kids, because it's important that they feel heard, it's important that they feel safe, and it's also important for them to be able to express their emotions. Like I have 3 boys. I remember when I go back to India, sometimes when my kids are upset and they cry, I can see the grown-ups, one generation behind saying, boys don't cry.
Yeah,
and I hate
exactly.
that. I hate that. I tell my boys, because there are 3 boys, I tell them it's absolutely okay
to cry.
It's absolutely okay. You're upset and that's okay. You need to express that. It's okay. So I think my journey has kind of differentiated the way I parent today from what I used to. Yes.
Yeah. And do you think this 100% openness, because I also get feedback, right? If you are so much open to the kids, they don't respect you. Like, they need to have certain boundaries between. Is that true?
So you're not the friend, you're the parent. That is one boundary that you need to set. By open communication, what I meant for me personally is I always tell my kids what the weekly schedule looks like. If I'm not going to be present on, let's say, a Wednesday, I have a dinner to attend, I let them know well in advance. So it's not like a quick surprise, because kids feel really unsettled when there is an unexpected surprise. So I make sure that the expectations are set straight. I give them a space to talk about whatever it is that they want to talk about. And if it is a situation when there is an argument growing up, especially if you have a teenager, you can see that they are changing. They are their own little adult, right? So
their hormonal changes.
Change, and there are so many things that are going on in their life, and they might not want to express everything, but you can see the change. Especially in teenagers, I always feel there's those tiny mood swings and those anger issues that are slowly propping up. So one thing I set with my oldest son is I tell him, if you're upset and you're angry, we're not going to have this conversation right now. We'll have it later when we both are calm. So sometimes I go for a walk, sometimes he goes for a walk. We don't have the conversation unless we are both calm.
It's a beautiful strategy, and I'll take a note of that because I face that when I have a son of 11-year-old. So it aggravates when we both are angry or either of them are angry. It doesn't give any solution.
It doesn't.
So
and I've seen it because now the way I parent is so very different from what I used to. Because a couple of years back, he used to do something, and then I used to be upset, and then I used to yell, and he used to be upset, and he used to cry, and it never solved anything. It was just going on repeat. But today, he's angry. I can see he's upset. I just tell him, "You're angry. I'm not talking right now. So take your time. Go for a walk." He's older, so he goes for a walk in the community.
Yeah.
He comes back. He's super calm. So that's his way of
handling
the emotions.
As you said, everyone is different. So we have to find out technique how to address them.
Exactly.
Saying that, and because you have addressed bullying situation very nicely, and it's mind-blowing. So any advice that you have for teenager or someone who's facing that and they don't feel comfortable to share that with their family because they don't want to bring that to family, what is that one advice or technique for them?
The thing is, why kids today, they don't want to share, including my son, why he didn't want to share is because he felt that he will be shamed, he felt embarrassed, and they just want to be the strong person, right? They just want to be the strong adult. And there's a lot of peer pressure to appear a certain way, right? So they feel that they're not good enough if they ask for help, especially teenagers today. But what you need to understand is, if you are not able to sleep at night, if going to school stresses you out, that is when you really need to look at yourself and decide that to take the courageous step to reach out. I mean, therapy is great for kids who are being bullied. Therapy is great for kids who are the bullies. Because a lot of times, what I've seen are parents who come to me and told me that I never expected my son to bully anybody, or I never expected my daughter to bully anybody. So, therapy and coaching is great for kids who are being bullied and kids who are being the bullies themselves.
Yeah.
For kids who are being bullied, you need to reach out to an adult, because an adult can help you solve the situation. Sometimes you're super young, like my son was 8 or 9. Who would he have told? His friends who are the similar or at similar age?
Or cousin,
You can't
or yes,
yeah, exactly. You
not
can't really
particularly
solve
to the
this,
parents.
solve it out. So it's all about being mindful and connecting with your kids, because when something is wrong, you'll be quick to respond. You'll be quick to pick up on it only if you have a connection with your kid.
Correct.
Yeah. And by connection with your kid, I don't mean driving your kids to school or taking them to their activities or just eating dinner together.
Just like a companion where they found their comfort zone.
Exactly. I'm talking about connecting to them one-on-one, because I have 3 kids. I take them out together, but we try to have one-on-one with the kids. It could be something simple like having an ice cream together, but that one-on-one time when you're both relaxed and connecting, understanding what's happening in your lives together, that's the kind of bonding you need to build with your child. Not just taking them out for dinner or just taking them out for their school or activities. Just get that one-on-one time. It's okay, even if it's 15-20 minutes during nap time, when you're going to bed, if it's that 15 minutes you get with your child, just connect with your child so that you will be quick to pick up on something that's not going well. And you can, as a parent, you are really in tune to your kids. So just use that connection. You will be able to pick up. Yeah. And as a coach and as a therapist for a child who's being bullied, you provide a safe, nurturing environment for them to express their emotions.
Correct.
And you can also work with the parents and school and make sure the child still feels safe, still feels empowered. Because what happens during bullying is that the fact is that the confidence, the self-esteem takes a hit, right? You start feeling low about yourself. So
and it impacts you a long time.
Absolutely, right? And why are we the way we are today? It's because of our past experiences.
Correct.
So catching it at the right time and helping build the child's self-esteem, confidence, and resilience is key for a child who's being bullied to feel more empowered. On the other hand, if you are a child who is the bully, it's really important to work with the therapist, because it is really interesting to find out what is going on in the child's
and
life.
Why,
right? Why does the child lack empathy? Most of the time, there's a lot of stuff going on at home. No child is born a bully. Okay, it's all experiences. It could be anxiety, stress at home. Perhaps the child is not feeling heard, no attention, and perhaps the child has lower self-esteem and confidence, and he feels good when he puts somebody else's down. So it's their way of empowering themselves. So really finding out what's going on his or her life is important to help them transform. So a therapist or a coach is absolutely essential and beautiful for somebody who's either going through bullying or who is the bully themselves.
Yeah. It's so interesting, because I ever thought that it's only the parents who are getting bullied or the students who are getting bullied, they come for therapy. Also, who are bullies, they are also coming, right? And
absolutely.
The underlying reason behind both is what you have seen. The underlying reason behind the bully and getting bullied is what?
It's always the parents and the house that they grow up in.
Okay.
Yes.
It's the parents.
It's always the upbringing.
And the environment they
are in. Because here's the beauty of it. No child is born feeling insecure. No child is born not feeling confident. Every baby born on earth feels absolutely confident. But during the journey of life, bullying, criticism, negative experiences, past trauma, this is what leads to a person as an adult having low self-esteem, low confidence, anxiety, stress, fear of judgment. All this creeps in because of instances that they've had during their upbringing. So it's really important to connect with your child and do whatever you can to flip those negative beliefs that they are forming at a young age.
It doesn't matter how much time you spend, but it matters how you spend
quality time. Quality time always. Like I could be a full-time mom. I could stay at home with my kids. I could be watching TV all day. And I could say, hey, I'm home with my kids. So that's not the point. Like you can be a full-time working mom, super busy. But if you actually take out that half an hour every day to sit with your child, that is beautiful quality time in itself.
And it's so important these days. And it's interesting. I think we need to understand like how the ecosystem is for their upbringing too. Because they show that and reflect that in school. And I think also what goes in school they also reflect the same thing at home, because I have also seen certain time my son comes very worried from school, and you can see the behavioral change. And when I ask in detail like what happened, then I come to know like, somebody might have made fun of him and all that, and then it's very much required that it's addressed at the right time.
Absolutely. I mean, that is one thing I've noticed, especially for my oldest son, who's a teenager. And when he was walking towards the car, just by watching him, I know something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
And I just give him time. I don't ask him what's wrong. I can see if I do ask him something, he gets snappy. So I don't have a conversation then. I let him come home, have his meal. And a bit later, I slowly knock on his door and I ask him, are you okay? And sometimes he's still snappy. Then I just tell him that, you know what, I'm here for you. Looks like something didn't go well at school today, but I'm here whenever you're ready to talk about it. And then a bit later, maybe in an hour or so, he slowly comes in and then he opens up and talks to me. Okay, this happens.
Were you the same before the coaching thing?
No. He used to snap. I used to snap as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm like the whole day, we haven't seen each other. I'm just asking you how your day was. Why are you so snappy? But I think, like I said, my own journey
has transformed the entire
just a
thing.
Mindful parent today, yes.
Being an engineer and now you are a therapist, right? So how you are thinking that technology or any engineering theory or practices is getting applied in therapy too?
I think technology is an amazing tool, because when I had my own journey, so I was here in Dubai, my life coach was located in Spain. Never met her, but she came recommended. So we used to do our sessions on Zoom. Okay, so it's technology that brings people together. And she was the best investment that I made for myself. The best person I've met. I remember 6 months down the lane, she visited Dubai and I just gave her a huge hug. It was technology that brought us together. And today, Madhu, I do sessions on Zoom. So I meet my clients on social media, and they are located in India. I have clients in Australia. I have them in Europe. We meet on social media. They are interested in what I do. We go on a call together, and then before you know it, we're doing sessions on Zoom. So I think connecting people is what technology is doing for us today, especially in the mental health field, where people could be located anywhere, but you still have access to them. One other thing I would say is, especially in rapid transformational therapy, just like in engineering, when you problem solve, you look for a root cause analysis to understand, to solve your problem.
We do RC always.
Yes, exactly, right? That's exactly what I do in rapid transformational therapy. Because like I said, you probably have, let's say, a fear of public speaking today, but it didn't start when you were, let's say, at 40. It didn't start at 40. It started somewhere in the past.
Exactly.
So finding the root cause for this fear is key to help having the transformation. Because you can get up every day and say, I'm a confident speaker. It is not going to change anything.
Correct.
But if you find the root cause of why you fear facing the public, is it the fear of judgment? Is the fear that you will not be accepted?
Or is it the fear of not my voice heard before?
Yes, I don't have a voice. I don't have a choice. What is it that is really triggering this fear of public speaking, for example? So I go back to the past, find out what the root cause is, and we reframe that to get to where you want to be. So root cause analysis is something that I definitely use in my coaching practice.
And root cause analysis can be used everywhere, right?
Everywhere, absolutely.
And I think most of the focus should be there on root cause analysis to find out the root cause and then having a solution for that.
Absolutely.
But giving this fast environment and everyone wants fast solution, we always look out for solutions first, finding out why it happened.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, superficial therapy is not going to help. You really need to dive deep, dig deep, and understand why you have this issue.
Correct.
And once you only solve that, will you see actual change? So yes, root cause analysis is something that I still incorporate in my coaching practice. One other thing that I do is, the lean principle, maximizing output. I help people create the goals, but really look at their lifestyle, their routine, take out unhealthy habits, and really put in some self-care routines in place so that they
to make them structure and
help them be more organized, more structure, have more time management, and also take care of themselves. Because self-care is absolutely essential for you to put yourself forward, to have you display your best version. You need to take care of yourself first.
Definitely. And I think that's a good discussion because I revised all the engineering principles now, right? So now saying that therapy is definitely taken as a bad stigma, like it's a stigma kind of thing. Like still people think that therapy is something sign of weakness.
Yes.
So do you think it still prevail in this part of world or everywhere, especially for men?
Exactly, right? Men always want to have a strong, courageous front, but honestly, they go through a lot. A lot
What
more than
statistics
women.
say?
Statistics, I was just talking to a friend recently who is also a coach, and she says, I work only with men. She said, and the number of people who approach me is just mind boggling because we grow up in a childhood and an upbringing where the man has to be strong. Be a
yes.
strong person. Like I told you, like how our older generation tell my kids, you can't cry. So there's a lot of pent up emotions and feelings that kind of just pulls you down, but you're not able to express it. With women, we could always cry. And we had an outlet for that emotion. But there's so much of pent up anger, resentment, fear that builds up in a man that today, I think with COVID, things have changed.
Okay.
People have been a bit more open about speaking about their mental health struggles. I was one myself. So I use my platform to educate people, to create that awareness. And I also share my own story, my struggles with anxiety, stress, guilt, fears. So I'm open about it on my platform because it's important for people around you to see that they're not alone. That the
Correct.
struggles that they have, everybody has it. Every single person that you meet
Go through the same thing.
or is always going through. There is nobody who is living a life completely free. Everybody is going through something. So normalizing the conversation
Correct.
is really important. So I educate people on my social media platforms. I am also open about what I've been through to show them that, hey, I've been through it. I get it. I understand what you're going through. So when people resonate with the stories that I talk about, that's when they feel that there is hope. So that is what I'm trying to spread. Hope. Giving them a lifeline, showing that it is still possible for you to change. You don't have to spend 20, 25 years of your life living in pain, living in fear. I also like the fact that Deepika Padukone, she came out a couple of years back and she said that she was going through depression. And who would have thought of that, right? She was in that
and such a
straight
glamour world. And
exactly.
yeah.
In that state of society where you think that everything is available to
And
you.
she was so successful that time
Exactly.
and right now too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you
So
put a
people
depression.
relate and
Yes. So when you have more people talking about it, celebrities, influencers, it really helps educate people. And I also like the fact that some of the people that I work with, not all, again, there's this mild stigma still associated with it. When I ask them, would they be willing to share stories? They're happy to give testimonials, which I share on my platform. But if you ask for a video testimonial, not many people are willing to give because, like I said,
They
there's
don't want to
still
get
that,
exposed.
Yeah, which I respect. I mean,
Correct.
confidentiality is really important, which
Definitely.
I respect. But I like the fact that with COVID, even though it brought a lot of issues, people are a bit more open about talking about mental health. I've also noticed that when you say a life coach, people feel much more empowered. When you say that, hey, I'm going to life coaches, they feel that you are working on self-empowerment or goal setting and a lot of other things. And I've also noticed when you say you're going to a psychologist, psychiatrist, people are a bit wary.
So they don't like that.
Yeah, they don't like the label.
Label.
That's
Yeah.
what I've realized.
Yeah.
So
in that note, what is the call to action for those who are contemplating to go for therapy, but somehow they are resisting?
So I think courage is what is required. It's not weakness. So you need to be courageous to take the step forward. You have a choice, and it's as simple as just picking up the phone and either sending a WhatsApp or a call. Just sign up for a discovery call. You don't know what is available out there. So create that call, have a conversation, see what is available, see if you click with the coach, with the therapist, and see what is it that they can do for you. Because the solution is out there, but you need to take that fearless step. So hop on a discovery call, figure out how a coach can help you solve your issues and create a transformation that you want to create for yourself.
And with that note, I would like you, Gayathri, to tell how my audience can reach you out.
You can always reach me out on Insta, which is at Coach Gayathri M, CoachGaya, the number 3M. I'm also available on WhatsApp, which is 0566 442 400. I'm also available on my website, which is www.gayathrimurukan.com.
Thank you so much, Gayathri. It was lovely talking to you, and your journey itself was mind-blowing, and more power to you, because the impact that you are creating, especially for the teenagers going through certain kind of depression, anxiety, which is a lot curable. And as a mother, what we see that its only solution is take them to psychologists or take them to therapist. But how to become part of their journey is also very important.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your life journey and lovely insights. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madhu. It was amazing being here, just talking to you. Thank you so much.